start developing, practicing being in control of some things. Does that make sense? Any thoughts on that? Obviously, you don't want to let them go overboard there. You're still the parent. You're still obliged to say no. But and finally, the last one is stage. And this is really hard to train a boy to be a sage. This journey of, thank you, this journey is the last stage on the journey. And this is actually when he's an older man now. And so this would be hard to foster in a young boy. But I think a boy seeing men involved in the lives of other men, seeing a man sharing his wisdom, seeing an older man mentoring a younger man. If a boy sees that modeled, he'll know that when his time comes, he'll be more likely to do that. It'll be a natural progression for him. Okay. Thoughts, questions, Mulyadi? Beloved son. That's what Eldridge would say, beloved son. Just because it is, in a sense, the foundational stage. The others, it's hard to say. The ultimate goal would probably be king, and Eldridge talks about a lover, though, as a Christian, we're called, yes, to be a warrior, but also to be a lover. So that's a really important stage that can be neglected. But to me, the foundational one is beloved son. Okay, we should be on page 2 now. We've gone through the chart. Thank you for bearing with me. That was a lot of me talking, probably more than I thought it was going to be. Let's think individually and then share in a partner. I'd like us, before we go to break, just to have a time to reflect and to jot down some ideas on those bullet points. So I'll read this, and you guys follow along on this second page. Individually, then with a partner. From the presentation on the stages of the masculine journey, answer the questions and then pray about these issues with the partner. What are 5 things that you need to do or continue doing, so both now and in the future, regarding your son's masculine journey? So maybe you're doing them already. What do you need to continue to do, or what do you need to start doing? It can be now, or things, if your son is, like Irving or Nicholas, or if they're younger, what ideas have you been sparked today? I would like to do this. Just jot things down, 5 if you can. On the flip side, 5 things you need to change or avoid in the future. And again, if you can't think of 5, that's fine. Or if there's one where you say, maybe you're thinking, I need to do a little bit, I need to avoid this or change that. So let's just take just a few minutes. It's almost 4 o'clock. If we could just take about 5 minutes just to think about those. And then if you wouldn't mind, I think it would be great to find a partner to share and then to pray about these going forward. Okay? So just take a moment or two to think about these. Some spouses are together, so that's great. Yeah. Cowboy stage is we are trying to promote independence. That's American. We are the #1 individualistic country in the world. I mean, by far. The individual is important. And that's a different value, because I see you guys, and this is, I'm not saying it's, in fact, I agree with what I've seen at LIC here, but you see parents, when the kids are pretty old, feeding their kids. It's more of a context of the group is more important than the individual, of dependence. And I think that's fine. So in a sense, this teaching about the cowboy stage is going to go contrary to some of your values. So just any thoughts on that? Nani? Oh no, go ahead.
These stages that you're saying,
Uh-huh.
especially, from there's cowboys, there's warriors, there's lover. Do they always have to come in sequence? Meaning, sometimes the cowboy and lover stage the lover stage can come earlier than probably the warrior stage.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think these are just the general progression that holds true probably for most boys. But like I said at the beginning, sometimes a boy will, he might gain that sense of let's say the lover, of appreciation of beauty, and get very interested in the opposite sex, and be interested in music and art and stuff like that before maybe he finds that warrior cause.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's possible. Yeah, I think so. Yes, Haida. Yeah. Uh huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 Yeah, we are by far, yeah, the people have actually studied this, and they've given tests and surveys to measure this, and the U.S. is by far the highest on individualism. So yeah, that it can be, it doesn't necessarily equal, godliness or, necessarily biblical values. Well, again, it's a fine line, because even if you're at home, you're promoting, the values of dependence and the values of group first. They're going to be getting, it's just American culture from the media to the schools, they're going to be getting kind of the me first and express yourself. It's a real fine line, because a lot of the Indonesian values, the Chinese values are wonderful and perhaps are more biblical even than the individualistic. But again, if I can I talk about what you talked about with Sam? So Sam Chiahiono, they were just, he wanted to be able to have his hair cut the way he wanted to, and Debbie and Cemento, I think in their heart of hearts probably would like a shorter haircut. That's what Debbie said. That's what she was used to. She grew up with that, but it had been a point of contention. So she decided to, on something that really, in a sense, in the grand scheme of things, is probably pretty harmless, the way you cut your hair. They said, okay, Sam, you've shown that you're not rebellious, you've shown some wisdom here, your hair is yours. And so he can express himself that way, but still, you know what I mean? So that might be, I thought that was really wise when Debbie shared that. So they can still express the individuality, but yet hopefully not go off on, because you don't want the rebellious stage, because oftentimes independence equals rebellion, and that's what you don't want. So. Any other thoughts on that? I'm not.
That's the idea.
Well, yeah, Cemento. Yeah. No. What?
No. What I like about this, what I've seen is like individualism is good, but when you are trying to find satisfaction in your life, is when you still have when you really have the need for it. That's when you. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
When you satisfy me, always, you're not going to satisfy.
And I think this church, and being with the youth group for 2 years now, where we've tried to do missions trips, and we've tried to serve, and we've tried to have a community, and Susie and Debbie and all of us, I think, have really worked hard to foster that, and that's been good. Yeah. Let me real quickly do quick book reviews. This book is called Recreate by Ron Luce. He's the founder of Teen Mania, the Acquire the Fire person. This is a good book. This book is about building a culture in your home that is stronger than the godless culture of the general culture of America. It says the culture deceiving your kids. So he really talks about the importance of a relationship, and when you see your son or your daughter being influenced to go after the culture, you need to just, he says, lean into them. You need to just go overboard by building a relationship with them. He encourages fathers to date their kids, both their sons and their daughter, a regular date time. And the first, I was talking to Samuel Sugung, and I told him, maybe you should do that. And even if the first 3 times, I'm like, the son is like, oh, this is so boring, this is so boring. If you keep it up and persist, that the fruit will pay off, that it will open the communication.